Hello everybody! As you can see, I do have a guest here, and this time it's Joshua Entis, aka This Little Vegan.
Woo! What's going on, world?
Very privileged to have him here, and we're gonna do a short interview where he's going to explain a little bit what he is about. Alright, let's do this. Cheers!
Cheers.
Josh,
Yes.
you have been vegan
Since April 6th, 2014.
How did that come about?
So yeah, it was, I actually had a really boring vegan story.
I'm excited to hear it.
I was sitting on my couch with my best friend at the time, and we had been doing certain elimination diets for the previous 6 months, getting rid of, gluten, getting rid of this, getting rid of that, just really trying to figure out what our bodies wanted and what they didn't want. And then we were searching on Google, healthiest diet, and veganism came up. So we were like, okay, let's just go vegan. So then we got up off the couch. I had just gone to the grocery store that morning as well and had bought a bunch of animal products.
Right.
So we cleared out the entire kitchen, put everything in a bag, brought it to our upstairs neighbor, gave everything away, and been vegan ever since.
Wow, awesome. So it was no problem for you to cut out all these products?
No, that was the easiest part. Yeah.
You went vegan for health reasons,
Yeah.
so how did the ethics and the environment, how did all the other stuff come about?
Sure, great question, because for about a year and a half, you could say I was more plant-based.
Right.
I didn't purchase any more leather, but I still wore leather. I went to a zoo once because I just was uneducated.
Right.
I hadn't made that ethical connection. I knew I was helping animals by not consuming them, but I didn't really look further to the issue.
Right.
So basically what happened was I watched Earthlings, sat through the entire documentary, and that was when the emotions just hit, mind, body, and soul aligned, and that's when I decided I needed to now be an active voice for the animals. I was sitting idly by, just content with being vegan,
Right.
and I knew that was making a difference, but I wasn't really out there trying to create change. And so Earthlings, watching all of that footage and seeing so deep into the industries and really getting that education is what built that strength inside of me to say, hey, you know what? Now I'm gonna actively fight for this injustice.
What was the first action that you took as an activist?
First action was I was leafleting at a Pride festival in Seattle, and I had a big sign saying free vegan starter kits, and I had this big balloon feather thing behind me. It was just a cool, fun event, and everyone was really excited, and it was a good first way to do activism for me because it was just passing out leaflets,
Right.
not really doing any communication with people, not doing much outreach.
Obviously, as everyone can see, you have an AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless hoodie on.
Yes.
So obviously you're participating in Cube of Truth. How did you came to know about the Cube of Truth? And why is it your favorite form of activism?
I began my search for AV, I think it was an Earthling Ed video or a James Aspie video of them doing outreach. Then, as the camera was panning, there were people standing there with computer screens and white masks. So I started to look into things, Google, YouTube, and Anonymous for the Voiceless came up. I watched one of Paul Bashir's, who's one of the co-founders of Anonymous for the Voiceless,
Right.
watched one of his outreach videos, and he had said, if you were looking to start a chapter or get involved, click the link, that sort of thing. So many big activists were doing Cubes of Truth. So I looked into it, I sent them a message on Facebook. There was no chapter in Seattle, and I was like, this is gonna be my 2017 goal, was to just go super hard into activism, start an AV chapter, and become an Earthling Ed, a James Aspie, become an outreacher, someone who is having effective communication with people about veganism on the streets. Other day in Bochum was my 51st Cube of Truth in under a year.
So sick.
So almost one a week for over a year. And it's my favorite form because it's a way that people can come learn about veganism on their own accord. The way we operate, as you know, I guess, the way we operate is by setting up a demonstration of people in a cube, shoulder to shoulder, wearing all black, white Guy Fawkes masks, holding computer screens showing slaughterhouse footage. That's how the demonstration runs. We don't do anything, we don't leaflet, we don't tell people to come watch our footage, we allow the demonstration to operate. People choose to come watch the footage. Then we have an outreach team come in, have a discussion with the people, sort of steering them down a way towards when they leave talking with us, they have a new inspiration to take veganism seriously. And I think this has just been such a powerful thing for me because it helps me grow as an activist, as a public speaker, feeling comfortable speaking with anyone about the most controversial topic out there, so people think. And I've seen results. I've seen people, I've heard from people who have left our demonstration saying, I'm vegan now, who have come and then participated in a Cube of Truth. And I like seeing instant gratification. And to me, that's a great way.
Then you decided to do something really crazy. You quit your job and now you're on the Compassion Tour. So please let all the viewers know what the Compassion Tour is about and how you came up with the idea.
Sure. So essentially the Compassion Tour was my dream idea, my passion project of traveling around the world for a year, visiting over 25 countries and doing as many actions as possible in regards to animal liberation and just raising awareness for the animals and helping other people increase the compassion in their lives. Also in helping vegans become more active. So I wanted to put all of that into one idea. And so that's where the Compassion Tour came about. I'm in love with the word compassion. I believe that choosing compassion is the best way to live life and to create just world change. It started about 6 months before I left. I had this vision. I said, this crazy idea of doing this, quitting my job and traveling the world, being a full-time activist. That was my passion. Cubes of Truth started to really solidify that for me. I wanted to do that every single day if I could. Social media really helped me get into having that desire for reaching more people. And then I just was talking with family and friends, and I'm a firm believer that once things become more uncomfortable than comfortable, you need to create change.
Right.
So things started to become more uncomfortable. I loved my job, I just wasn't passionate about it. Activism was taking just a higher level as far as what was driving me, what made me want to wake up and go about my day. So I just said, hey, life's short. I was 27 years old at the time. I got to go do this for myself. I felt like it was something I needed to do for the animals. And now I'm almost 4 months in Germany right now is my 9th country.
Which are the other one?
So
the other 8.
Started in Canada, went to Israel, Belgium, the Netherlands, jumped on over to England, went up to Scotland, Ireland, Spain, and now I'm here.
Okay, next stops are?
Next stop is I'm going to Austria, just for a few days. Then I'm going back to Spain. I need some warmer weather after being here in Germany. Going back to Spain, and then the next is a little bit of a secret because I haven't figured that out in my head yet. So follow me on social media, and in about a week you will know. So I want to keep that a little secret because I need to figure it out for myself first.
Yeah, sure.
It's somewhere not in Europe, not the United States.
Cool.
I'll leave it at that.
Cool. The Compassion Tour.
Yeah.
I have the feeling it's not only compassion, meaning compassion towards the animals, but it's also being compassionate about the people who have not yet made the connection.
Yes.
About I feel like it's symbolizing your approach on how you talk with them. So what is your general approach on you think what is the most effective way to talk with people who have not yet made the connection and who aren't vegan yet?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to understanding them and listening to them.
Right.
I think those are the first two things, because we have to remember, most of us have not been vegan our whole lives.
Right.
I was super disconnected growing up in the US, eating meat, I think 7 days a week.
Right.
I used to hunt, and back in those days, I still didn't make the connection that those were living, breathing, innocent beings. And so I think if we come from a place of understanding with every single person we speak to, even if it's super difficult, some people will communicate with you and you don't want to be understanding or nice or compassionate, but we have to. I think we should remain as calm and cool and collective as possible, because if we understand people, that builds a sense of respect and trust between the person you're communicating with. They say, this person gets me, they're empathizing with me. They can see that I'm feeling this way, that they've lived this way as well. And then listening to people is you can uncover certain things about their life or what challenges they're having with making that connection.
Right.
So if you listen to them and you understand them, that is just a powerful way to gather all the information, the trust, and the respect that you need to then inspire them and educate them on making that connection. So I think that's my best advice for that. Because you're right, compassion isn't just for the animals, it is extending compassion to every single being on this planet, because the more compassion we put out into the universe, the more compassion we're going to attract, and that's just going to create big change, I believe.
A lot of people have hard times getting into activism because they don't know where to start, they don't feel like they are doing the right thing. Some people might be out there shouting and this doesn't just resonate with you. Mm-hmm. So what would be your first tips, tricks for people who want to get active?
Sure, I think the first thing for anyone who wants to become an active voice for the animals is to have the desire and the passion to be active for them. And what I mean by that is listen to your heart, look deep within, and find that fire that you know is lit within, that you're going to be able to use to then battle anything that comes your way on your path to being an activist. I know that sounds very grand and deep and big, but really just listen to your heart. Make sure you have that desire to be an activist first. Second is just find out what you're most passionate about, find out what you're most skilled at. You know, we've been living a life for X amount of years, and you know what you love doing and you know what you're good at. So use those two things to then turn that into your own form of activism. I know we talk about this all the time and it's not anything new, but if you love making music, make music directed towards animal liberation. If you love to write and you're a really good writer, start a blog, create a social media account. I started mine with Instagram, posting food pictures, and I just started to learn my own narrative until I became a writer. Right. And I just started using social media as my platform. You know, if you are an extrovert and love public speaking, go out and interview people on the street. Give speeches to schools. You know, go out and inspire people through whatever you are good at and whatever you love to do. And don't be afraid if you fail. I think that's really important. I tried 3 or 4 different types of activism before I found Anonymous for the Voiceless, before I found my niche as far as communicating with people face to face, in a public sphere. And I was okay with failing. I realized, not failing, but learning what I liked and what I didn't like in regards to activism. Because I think we need all forms of activism to create this big change.
Yeah.
So listen to your heart, find the desire to want to create change, and then use what you're good at and what you love to do in your own way as far as being an activist. And try everything. You know, it doesn't hurt to try that screaming protest in front of Canada Goose. It doesn't hurt to try the silent protest, in front of a slaughterhouse. It doesn't hurt to try AV. It doesn't hurt to make an Instagram. You could do it all.
Right. So very wise words from a very wise man. All right, Josh, thank you for your time, for the short interview. I will link down all of his social media accounts that you can follow Josh, where he's at currently at the moment. Follow his Compassion Tour, and also make a donation if you like to support him.
Cool.
Right? Cheers, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, very welcome.